All right, hello and welcome everyone to the first episode of the Evoked Thoughts podcast. We're going to be here talking about some things. We should probably start by introducing ourselves. I'm Jay.
I am Alex.
My name's Tommy.
I'm M.
All right, yeah, so those are all the people. All right, so yeah, we were thinking we were going to start this first one just by talking about something that's fairly relevant right now and pretty cool. The new Rockstar game, Red Dead 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, because Revolver apparently never got a sequel because no one liked it. It was really terrible. All right, so I've been playing a lot of the game. It's been really cool. I mean, there's a lot of games out there that are pretty amazing, but I mean, this game is uniquely so. There's a lot of things that have been done in this game that are just, I don't know, unparalleled.
It is beautiful. It takes cinematic to a weird place. Everything is beautiful, and anytime you're in the game, you could stop whatever you're doing and just be immersed in whatever you're doing. And that's just in basic third-person gameplay, not even in first person or fucking VR.
Oh yeah, I don't even know what that would be like.
It would be so intense.
I don't know. I've never really played before. I've seen a couple videos online about it and everything. It looks pretty dope. I mean, definitely better than that GTA 5. I started that. It's,
I mean, it was fine. It's still content's still being released for it. It's a fine game.
it's all right, but
It's pretty old at this point, and I think it's definitely starting to show more than you would think. I mean, if you go back to it, I've been watching some stuff on it recently, and I'm like, man, it ages well, but it still ages, and it's insane, but it's like these things are not timeless, I mean, you go back to some stuff from PS3, even PS2, and it's like, wow, I can't believe that I really truly remember DMC2 as being fully fledged, fully fleshed out,
But now you go back and it's, oh boy, it is.
Oh yeah, those characters are made of geometric shapes.
And it shows, it really shows.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I don't necessarily agree with that because there's a little game called Pac-Man and it's still pretty freaking relevant.
Hey,
Graphics on
that's a
point.
fair point. That's a fair point. Shit, that's
But and also, I guess to rephrase, I guess the main reason too why I'm just so mad with GTA is just the fact that it's just non-realistic. You can't just jump a dude in the street because all of a sudden cops are just gonna start shooting you.
Yeah, unlike the
all I'm
real
gonna do is
world.
just jump people.
Unlike the real world where you can just absolutely beat the shit out of someone with no repercussions at all. I mean, I carry stilettos casually. It's really just a pastime to walk by and stab grannies as they're crossing the street. This is
right?
Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't have been dressed like that. That's all I'm saying.
For real, they just think they can just wear whatever the hell they want in public. Girl, nobody wants your pastel-looking flower dress out here,
Yeah, man, that's all I'm saying. It's just you got to solve some problems for the people, right? It's utilitarianism at its best.
As someone with the least amount of video game experience in this room, probably, I can even appreciate as Alex was saying, the cinematic qualities in Red Dead. And going back to what Tommy was saying about repercussions in GTA 5, that's what you're talking about?
GTA 5, yeah.
In Red Dead, it is a lot more realistic, the repercussions, because you can get away with some stuff if you're smart about it, but then if someone finds the body that you hid, then they're going to start investigating, and it'll tell you there's an ongoing investigation in that area where you hid the body and where it was found.
Yeah, it's not a problem as long as you don't just pull a gun on a person in the open street, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it, Em?
That was an accident.
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I was
accident.
trying.
Yep.
That was an accident.
Yep. That's what they all say. They always say it's an accident, and for some reason, we just don't believe them.
I guess that is one thing that I can actually appreciate about the game. From what little I do know, yeah, it's just the fact that there's realism to it, but not to the point where it's not any fun. It's fun realism, if that makes any sense.
No, I mean, this is a game where you have to feed yourself and sleep regularly. You have to bathe regularly. You have to frickin' brush your horse. Yeah, but if you don't, your camp members are going to make sure you smell like dirty Artie.
Is that what they say?
Dirty Artie.
It's also a game in which you have a scale that shows you how evil and good you are. And depending on that, when it goes into those slow motion sequences of you taking a guy out in one shot, it changes based on how evil or good you are.
That's pretty rad, actually.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a lot of games that have a karma system, but this is something that is, I don't know, it's different. It's going to be a lot of repetitive stuff here, talking about this game, because it really is hard to kind of like quantify and nail down what makes this game so special. There are so many games that have done so many amazing things. I think of stuff like The Witcher, the Uncharted series. I'm a Sony fanboy, so that's where my mind goes. But there are, even Last of Us and stuff that really has been revolutionary. But like this game changes games. There's no way that moving forward games are going to be able to look the same. Like Red Dead 2 exists, and so now people are going to have to look back at that and go, man, we made this awesome game. But like fucking Red Dead 2 exists, and that's a game where horse balls shrink when it's cold. And like that may not sound important.
You know what?
Only
But that's
you
some realism,
are getting
man.
caught
I'm
up on
in.
that, Jay.
Look, I need you to understand that if the horse balls don't shrink in a game from now on, I'm gonna feel
It's those
like I
minute
wasted
things
at
that
least $10.
make it realistic. God damn it!
Congratulations, you have just sold Tommy on this game, Jaden.
No, yeah.
Yeah, that's true, man. And I mean,
That's all you have to
beyond
say.
that, there's even the smaller stuff, though, the less,
Balls just go up
ridiculous
in
stuff.
there, yeah.
Things like if you're holding a rifle, and you start shooting at a guy, and then you want to pull out your pistol, rather than putting the rifle back on his back, which would take like way too long of time, and he'd just totally get killed. He drops the rifle in one hand and pulls out the revolver in the other hand and starts shooting with it, with the rifle still held in his left hand. Like, it's this attention to detail that really doesn't exist because it really hasn't been able to. And I mean, we know that there were a lot of possibilities, a lot of stories about what may have happened during the development cycle that kind of caused this to be able to happen. But regardless, right, looking at the end product, they have done things that not even did we not know we wanted, but like we really didn't think were possible. We'd come to understand for the most part what this generation's video games look like and what they're capable of. And at this time, that has all been changed because there's stuff that happens in this game just with like the physics engine on its own that I'm like, I actually didn't know that could happen. I didn't know that we could program that on a PS4.
Well,
Like you
it's
can
the first
slip on
time.
rocks.
It's the first time on a game in, I don't know, feels like a decade, maybe longer, that we've had 2 discs for the download. I literally, off the top of my head, can't think of any game that has had that for at least a decade.
Yeah, anything that isn't a PC. I mean, I know that there were PS2 games. I want to believe there were. I can't think of any off the top of my head either. But like, just the idea of that says so much. And having played, I think I've played probably the most of everyone here. I know that.
But I will say, because I'm actually relatively new to gaming. I think I started in like early 2017. And the 2 games I actually started with were Skyrim and Bioshock. I still think Bioshock would hold up. Like, I'd go back and play all 3 of those games. But
one of the problems with those games, with like Skyrim in general, because I've played Skyrim, I didn't actually get around to playing Bioshock. But the NPCs don't remember you, and there's pretty much no consequence for any of the choices you make. The thing I love about Red Dead so much is that NPCs remember you. Every single NPC remembers you. Yeah. And another thing is that, like going back to your earlier point about being dirty, something that's really cool about this game is that if you kill someone or kill an animal and pick up the body, the blood gets on you. There was even earlier today I was playing, and I saw a animation that I hadn't seen before with a knife where I stabbed a guy, and his blood just sprayed all over Arthur.
But like thicker blood too,
like
because
thick
there's
blood,
been that like thin blood on you from like animals and stuff. But like when you killed this dude and stabbed him in the throat, you got covered in like guts.
Right, but if you go into town covered in blood, they are going to react to that because you are a person covered in blood.
And they're going to react differently because when you're covered in blood, they're afraid of you. When you're covered in dirt, they're disgusted by you.
Yeah, that's real cool.
But then also, if you go into town wearing your mask, there are some NPCs who won't do business with you if you're just casually wearing your mask. I forgot I had my bandana over my mouth, and the train station guy was like, I'm not doing business with you until you take that off. And I had to take it off before he would even let me pay off bounties or buy tickets or mail.
That's freaking awesome, because I remember, like, man, I started with just my first RPG was Skyrim, and it's just like to see that.
It's a
RPG
lot of
can go
people's
so far.
first RPG.
Yeah,
It's not a bad game. It's
It's
honestly
not a
a
bad
really
game at all.
fantastic game. It's just at this point
But the
we
fact that
have
they
a
can do
new
so much
game
more.
that does the same kind
Yeah.
of thing in the sense of like me and M have been playing this game, about, like, I got it pre-order,
Non-stop.
day of release, been playing pretty much nonstop, and I mean, we're talking, like, I just started doing, like, the story proper, like, left the
Yeah.
first camp, like, yesterday. And it is today, maybe 3 weeks after release? Maybe
Yeah.
4?
2 or 3.
2 or 3? Sure, I'm bad with
Yeah, no,
numbers.
the game
and
does
a
a
little,
really
little
good
buzz.
job of immersing you in the world and making you want to be a part of the world, and not just to do the quest. Like, there are other things you can do in the world. You could be riding around and run across someone with a snake bite and have to save him, or run across a lady who fell off her horse and twisted
Oh
her
my
ankle
gosh.
and she
Okay,
needs a
you
ride
probably
to town.
haven't gotten here yet, but this is insane. I had a moment where the snake bite guy, it happened again.
Oh yeah,
But
no, it
when
happened
it
to me.
did,
Yeah.
when it did, I thought it was going to be that moment like in any other open world game where it happens again, and then it's the same animations, it's the same talk, and you're just like, oh shit, it's just the same guy, whatever, they're reusing assets. But in this case, he actually remembered me, and I remembered him. So Arthur rides up on this horse, seeing this dude, and he's like, oh shit, it's Snakebite guy again. And he's like, oh no, mister, you saved me, thank you so much, but I'm so embarrassed for you to see me like this, kid. And he's rolling there, and he's like, Mister, I'm gonna need you. And Arthur goes, oh no, oh shit, oh no. And he's like, I'm gonna need you to suck it out again. And Arthur gets out, gets down, he sucks it out again, and then he makes some crack about how he's like, don't get caught up in it again, guy. It's just like the world remembers you. It's not just the NPCs remember you. It's like your actions exist. There are so many games that rely on the semblance of like reality. The idea or the sort of illusion of like this is a real world, but that as soon as you turn the corner and walk away, that city fades away and like doesn't exist in the code, until you come back again. But like here, I've seen very few instances that really remind me that this is like a game, that these things aren't real. I mean, there are small things, like when your hat gets shot off, right? It gets a bullet hole.
Yeah.
That like maintains, and every time you put on the hat, that hat has a bullet hole until you buy a new one. At least I haven't had a bullet hole fade away yet. I don't know if anyone else has, but like in my experience, my hat still has a hole in it where I got shot by this jackass O'Driscoll who fucking jumped me.
One of the people at camp actually said something about the hat having a bullet hole in it, just saying like close call, huh, Arthur?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's the whole world is the telltale X will remember this.
Yeah.
But it's just dirty beggar on the street at this
Yes.
unnamed town will remember this.
Okay. The one instance, the thing that really terrifies me, I'm a real bad cowboy, guys. Real bad.
Bad at being a
There was a
cowboy?
feller who was, no, I'm a very good cowboy, I'm a very bad man. There was a feller who's blind. He's on the way to like Strawberry maybe. And I mean, this guy, he looks like your old school sage. Like I've been playing a little bit of Odyssey before this game came out. This guy looks like he came straight out of like ancient Greece, like wearing the toga and everything, and blind, long beard, looks like some sort of like priest of Zeus. And you ride past this guy, and he's like, "Arms for the poor, arms for the blind," and you're like, "Okay, cool, yeah, man, I'll help you out." You get off your horse, you give him some money, and this dude, like after you give him money, he like tells you your fortune, which is like I think he's just reading, like riddles written about like what's gonna happen in the story. But like that's not what happened. He told me about what must have just been like some random event. Like I strained to even figure out how the developers really created this concept, because it's like it must have been just some random event that they knew might happen eventually or was likely to happen eventually. And so then they told me, But anyway, long story short, it tells me about this terrible thing that's going to happen. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it's like the thing happens, then I'm like, fuck, that dude wasn't fucking with me. He told me like some real shit. So I go back to him and I'm like, what the fuck's going on? So I pay him again and tell him, and then he tells me some bad shit. And that I think was story stuff. But when he told me that, I was like, Arthur's not happy about hearing that. So, like you do, gets on his horse, starts riding away, everything's fine. You're welcome, sir. Glad you got that money. Hey, you have a good day now, fella. Throw some dynamite over my shoulder and ride away real quick. This man,
Did you
20
throw
feet in the air,
dynamite?
legs flying at me as I'm riding away at top speed. Like, yeah, that's another thing. I mean, you can shoot off dudes' heads. You can take a shotgun to a dude and take off his arms. Like, so yeah, this dude decimated, fire all over the place and shit. Yeah, so anyway, I kill this guy real gruesomely. Real bad shit, right? I'm like, all right, well, he's dealt with now. That fucker should have said that stuff about my family. I ride away. I go into town. I do some stuff. I come back 3 real days later. Like, I went to work as Jay, like, you know, did all my own human stuff away from Arthur. Came back like 3 days later, and I ride past this guy who's there again. And I'm like, oh fuck, it must be just like another dude who like is wearing the robes and stuff. But I roll up and I'm like, no, that's the same blind dude. That's the same, he's got the same scar over his right eye.
You blew up Jesus.
That man looks at me as I'm riding past. Watching, this is a blind dude, watching me ride past, and is like, it's nice to see you again, sir. I'm like, oh, fucking what? So yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, man, the world remembers you on a level where I'm like, that guy's either a fae, a demon, or Jesus, and I don't really know which would be worse.
From rags to death, back to rags. Unfortunately, it's still blind.
You know who,
Yeah, and you
when
know
people
what?
come back from the dead, what does money matter?
You know what? That man's definitely getting those alms next time. Definitely. Yeah, I'm real excited to see about that plot line where, you know, you end up like waking up in the middle of the night at the camp and this dude's just like killing everyone.
You know what? He's not a traveling fortune teller. He's just a traveling magician, dude. He cheats death. That's his trick. You should have paid
I
him.
think he's just the Grim fucking Reaper.
You know.
Or that.
Because I mean, the time's coming. Arthur's not long for this world.
Well, it's also, you know, you said it yourself, you're a bad cowboy. So you kill a lot of folk. Grim Reaper's gonna be around you a lot, so he's just hanging around like, maybe
I'll
if I
tell
fuck with
you
this guy.
what, man. I'm not the best fella around. That's for sure.
Something that I like about the game that's kind of a little off topic right now, but something that I was reminded of playing today, actually. I went back up into the mountains because the game starts you in the mountains, and I've never played a game where you can actually go back to where you started. I mean, I guess in Skyrim you kind of could, but like, it wasn't like that. I mean, you can go back to this abandoned barn and just sleep there and be there if you want for a few days.
Yeah, it's really pretty crazy. I mean, you go back there and you can find the exact place, not even as you left it. Like, there are, you know, things in there that you didn't leave in there, and there's stuff about it that you know is like, you know, while you guys were packing up and getting out real quick, you know, you knocked something over or whatever. Like, I don't know if I pointed it out to you, but I saw like a chair that was knocked over on the way out, and like, it's very, there's some real shit going on here, man.
Because you can go back to the same locations that you've been to previously, and it's not the same encounters. There will be different people there who have taken up residence, and it's not the same people. It's not like in Skyrim where, oh, it's a wolf den, and then it just regenerates the wolves again. There was a group of Lemoyne Raiders over here, and then you go back,
Fuck
and now
those guys.
yeah, fuck those guys. And then you go
They're
back.
just making a living like any other bandit raider. You
Nah,
know?
look, they can have Lemoyne. Fuck it, man. I'm out. Sorry, you guys will get there in the
Fuck the
story. You'll
O'Driscolls,
understand.
too.
Fuck all of it, man. Fuck all of it.
Did you throw dynamite all over that place too?
I mean, you know,
Monsieur
no, okay,
Jack
so
Tremblay?
the stories about Lemoyne are a little bit more terrifying. I, you know, got
Jesus
all
getting
dressed
blown
up.
and coming back kind of terrifying?
No. I'm more the Reaper in this situation. You know, I get all dressed up in my Sunday finest, the white suit with the black coat and the scary psycho mask and my little throwing knives. And sometimes, you know, I just have a bit of a party in the town. And I mean, there's a lot of dark alleys there. You know, there's a lot of ways that you can just kind of, you know, enjoy what the city has to offer. And I mean, it's a chill time. You know, it's really, you know, it's a little bit of gin. You know, get those gold cores going, and then you just kind of walk in there and you're like, hey, ma'am, it's nice to see you this night. Give me all your money. You know what I mean? It's just, it's that casual kind of conversation that you get with the locals that really just kind of like brings out the beauty of that kind of city. You know? Their throats bleeding like those beautiful fountains right behind them in the courtyards,
All right,
lit
shit.
by the
Fucking
nice little
hurt,
kerosene
goddamn it.
lamps that I'm thinking about lighting their faces on fire with. It's great. It's a great time. Really great time.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's
I mean,
ano-
all I'm saying is fuck Lemoyne.
That's another thing. If something catches on fire, it's gone. Like if a body catches on fire, you
Oh,
can't loot it
gone
after
as
it's caught on
fuck.
fire. Yeah.
If your horse
Also-
catches on
See,
fire, it's
Also,
dead.
if you catch on fire, stop, drop, and roll. Like, or run into the water. Like, it's not gonna go away. It's gonna keep catching on fire.
Oh, yeah.
I learned that the hard way.
Also, if you're covered in blood or dirt, run into the water and you can wash it off. Because
Yeah.
that's the fucking kind of game
Yeah.
this is.
The only complaint to have about this game, and it's a stupid one, it's a very stupid one.
It is.
Shut up. I know it's stupid. Leave me alone. The trains are stupid. You don't have to feed coal. It just runs. But there's no like feeding coal animation. You're not shoveling. You can't
Look,
feed more
but you
coal.
can't
It's
Or
one of
signed
the-
up for a
it.
train
You
simulator.
can
God
still
damn it.
drive it
That's
though.
what I-
But you do not. Okay, no. In that steam engine trains. Shut up.
Machine Gun Alley over here.
Leave me alone. This matters. If you have to pour water in them, otherwise they overheat and they blow up. You don't have to stop to. There's specifically water silos along railways to stop that problem. You stop, fill up, and you keep going. You don't have to stop. You can keep going. Your train does not explode, and that pisses me off. It's a dumb complaint. It doesn't matter. I should get over it, but I'm not gonna. Rockstar, fix it.
But yeah, you can hijack trains in this game, guys. And
Yeah,
it's
to what end?
Really great.
To drive a train. Hashtag chugga chugga choo choo.
You can rob everyone on the train, rob the train, and you can drive it the entire railway.
You can take your $10 bounty to a, what was it, almost
$225.
No, it was like $365.
Now, granted, listen, that wasn't
Yeah.
for train theft. That was for killing every fucking sheriff in Lemoyne.
I was a train conductor, and they were impeding.
No,
on
you
my
were
route.
literally a dude in the bloodiest clothes I've ever seen who hopped on the train while it was parked at a station, killed the conductor, and then hightailed your ass down a straight fucking line while they're telling, through telegraph, everyone in the next city over that this dude is riding like a fucking idiot on the rails. Like, they know where you're gonna be.
You know what? I have to say something. You know what? This game just proves a point. It proves Westworld's point.
Fuck off.
No.
Please,
no,
I swear to God,
no.
please,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
for the love of all things, explain to me the point of Westworld.
No, okay.
I
first of
fucking
all,
dare you.
The point, okay, there's like, it's layered.
Now, wait. Are we talking just season 1 when
No,
stuff
we're
like
talking
still
just-
makes
no,
sense?
okay,
Or are
we're
we
just
talking
talking
like
season
you've
1
watched
here.
more of season 2 than me?
No, we're just talking season 1 here, like, you know, the fact that, like, you know, given the ability and, you know, the lack of moral repercussion, you know, people are gonna do bad shit, and you know what? You guys just can't have any wholesome fun in a game, you know, you can't just go there, just have it be a cowboy simulator, drink, you know, maybe race some cattle. Instead, you just all are, like, gonna go willy-nilly shooting up the town.
that's not true. I actually
it
ju-
began with us both just hunting.
Well, no, I actually
Okay.
have justified my Arthur. My Arthur only kills. He has a philosophy. His family is the most important thing. So if I deem anything a threat to the family, then I eliminate
Like
that
the
threat.
snakes
by
that wouldn't
whatever-
let you make them into a banjo.
But
True story.
I
though.
spent
She
it in.
spent 3 hours hunting snakes to turn them.
And in the course of that, killed about 16 people
Yeah.
in the pursuit of snakes
Those
to
were
make
bounty
a banjo.
hunters that came
Now,
after
granted,
me.
this
I
is a
did not-
banjo.
Because of their terrible crimes against
This is a
humanity.
banjo you can play. This is an
Oh, yeah.
actual real-life banjo.
No. She did not know it was. She just thought it was aesthetic.
Fair
and
point.
then found out you could
This is
play
true.
it.
That's true.
Yeah.
She did do it without knowing that it was a real banjo. That's fair.
Anyways, my point is that my Arthur does everything for his family.
Like pulling a gun on someone and then going
No,
on a murder
that
spree.
was an accident. I was trying to pull a gun on the person robbing his wife, and then that dude run away. So it just looked like I was pulling a gun on a dude who just got his wife killed.
I mean, look, you gotta understand, if a strange man walks up after your wife just got robbed and killed,
that was just.
right, with a gun in his hand, you're probably gonna be like, what the
I
fuck?
was just
Especially
in the
when he's
wrong place at
pointing
the
gun
wrong
at you.
time. And that
I mean, hey, that's what
Now,
they all say.
I have done bad shit. I'm not denying that, but in
Tell it
that
to the
instance,
judge,
it was
Mr.
just the
Morgan.
wrong place at the wrong time. Oh,
Yeah, but I
Quincy
mean,
Morgan.
this is a game that is really going to set some standards. And mind you, most of what we're talking about is non-story shit. Like, that's the craziest thing, man. I could be telling you, like, this whole podcast could be
What
me
is the
talking
story?
about the story. No.
Cowboy.
No. Here's the thing, though,
If we
man.
say anything
If
about
I
the
tell
story,
you
it ruins
anything
it.
about what happened past, like, the first chapter, I'm doing you a disservice. Because not only is it, like, a really unexpected, amazing Western. Because, like, look, just on the basis of what it is, it's a Western set about guys who were going to the West to get away. They were heading towards California. Then shit goes south on this job. No one knows why. Their leader's like, fuck, we gotta go. And everyone doesn't have time to ask any questions. A bunch of people are dying. They fucking leave. They hightail it up into the mountains. And the game starts with you camped out in the mountains, fucking terrified, having no idea what's going on, who's chasing you, why you're up here, right? What went wrong? probably a little bit afraid of everyone because you're like, did someone betray us? What the fuck? You know, and eventually you start getting some information. But, like, you don't even have time to ask those questions because you're up in the mountains fucking freezing. There's wolves everywhere. You don't know who's coming after you. You hear gunshots and hoofbeats in the distance. Like, it really sets this tone of, like, okay, this is after that crazy, you know, heist movie, but it goes wrong. And so then you pick up at the end of that and the beginning of something totally new that we've never seen. This idea of, okay, you got to survive here, and then when you get out, you head down. But you're not heading down into the west, you know. You're heading down into the southeast. We're talking like Georgia, Mississippi, and like Louisiana, basically. Like all these analogies for these different states and stuff. And so it's like, not only is it this varied landscape, but it's almost none of the like desert and mesas and Indians that you're expecting to see from like a Cowboys kind of thing. It's like these vast rolling green kind of like hills and valleys, and then leads down into this like crazy jungle or like tall like forested trees, and then all the way down into like a real swamp and bayou, into even like a legitimate like 1800s like gaslight city that is like an analogy for old school Louisiana, New Orleans. It's really,
got a question.
really impressive.
You run into any of those? I think they call them banditos, Mexican cowboys.
I run with one of them banditos, actually. His name's Javier Escuela. He's a real good guy.
That's cool.
Suffice to say, it is a game that will undoubtedly change a lot, and I don't even know how it will.
Yeah, for sure. So this is the beginning. You know, we've just spent, you know, about half an hour just kind of talking. This is our first episode, so, you know, there's a lot we could be doing better, and I'm sure a lot of people who know how we could be doing that better. So we'd absolutely love to hear from you guys and see kind of like what you can tell us, you know, about any of the escapades you've had regarding podcast or Red Dead for that matter. And, you know, try to be a little bit light on spoilers, though, so that we don't get into any of that stuff that, like, you guys who have played know what I'm talking about and, like, don't say it at all. Anyway.
One more thing. This is a game where you can break your own horse. Just go out in the wild and lasso your own horse. And I highly encourage everyone to try that because that is an experience.
It's
on
a
its own.
very intense personal journey, for sure.
It is wonderful.
Alrighty.
But yeah, so moving forward, we're definitely going to try to do some more of these, talk about some more topics. And they're not always going to stay on topic, you know, we like to talk, so there's a lot to say. But I think that once we kind of all get further in the game and kind of keep playing, once you guys actually kind of get your hands on it proper, we can, you know, maybe have like a deeper kind of discussion about what's going on in the systems. And I'm sure you'll have your own stories about what's going on, especially, God, the story. I would love to, like in, you know, a few months' time, once you guys have all beaten the story, like sit down and have a real spoiler cast discussion.
Oh, I can't wait.
There are some things that I don't know how to, like, even predict your guys' reactions, because I did not know how I was going to react, for sure. So, all right.
You guys have thoroughly convinced me to buy this game. We'll see you next time on Convincing Tommy to buy things with the money he does not have.
That's
That's
true.
every day.
That's true. That is every day in this house.
Unfortunately.
All right. So yeah, thanks again, guys. You know, for checking us out. You know, we'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And all right, yeah, I'm Jay. That's Alex, and
I'm Tommy, and
I'm Em. Have a happy holidays.
keep the peace.
yeah, guys. I don't know if this comes out before.
Yeah,
Christmas.
who knows?
We'll see what happens.
We're recording this late November, but thank you all for watching or listening.
I'm going to start a thing, though. It's going to be tradition now.
No,
I'm going to end
no.
every single episode with a
No, no.
catchphrase. Keep it real, dupes!
And we're cutting that.